Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Tales from the Yawning Portal, where a bunch of nerdy-ass guys stare at a camera and play Dungeons and Dragons. I'm Fausto, I'll be your DM for tonight, and these are our players. Ben.
Tonight I'm playing Brock Adamantite, the greatest artisan in the multiverse. That's the one.
Eric.
I finally got it right.
Sorry. Eric.
Hey, I'm playing Alexander Radovich, the group's Ranger Rogue. I'm here to just chill out and hang out. What's up? Hopefully not murder a friend.
Really? Am I interrupting everyone today? Stan.
And I'll be playing Tarlin, the Drow Warlock, the craziest warlock in the multiverse.
And Kevin.
And tonight I'll be playing Yinkin, again the Circle of Dreams druid, who is trying to raise an army of animals.
I almost was about to... I thought you were about to say, who is trying to raise an army of undead. I was like, what? What's going on?
I mean, I can start raising an army of rats. Just start summoning them every day with my ring, and then just corralling them into just a giant cage. Orbital drop shock some rats in there. Your
That would be
property
a-
value shall plummet.
That would be a thing to see. All right, guys. So, where are we? What are we?
Talking to
Oh
King
yes,
Rude.
I think I remember. Yeah, he's such a rude king. You had last session. You had visited the Winter Queen, and your meeting went well, not exactly as expected, so to say. Things with the Winter Queen are a bit cold, and yeah, and
It's a really
you,
shame. She had a lot of fashion about her.
she did, and so you went back home to your fortress to formulate a new plan, and eventually you decided to finally go and visit Shadow Throne. Yes, the world of Tira, the Shadow Throne birth world, so to say. And you started from the city of Hammerborg,
Yes.
the imperial city of the Empire of Aluria, that is built on this floating island. So maybe when you meet somebody here, it will explain you better. But the concept here is that the world of Tira is actually ruled by the Dark Elves, who have obscured the sun with dark clouds, and the goodly races were forced to lift their countries above these dark clouds and create these floating islands where they now live. And so you had just received acceptance into the presence of Emperor Rud Steelthorn, the Master of Nine and wielder of the Blade of the Last Citadel.
Oh, is it still Thorn?
Steelthorn, yes.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
Why? What did I say last time?
I wrote Rud Steelhorn.
Horn. No, that was
I was
Thorn.
expecting a horn.
He's not quite a rhino type dude.
No, it's okay.
His helmet just has like a giant horn on
But
the
he
front
is
of it.
a
That's it.
GIF. No, sorry.
He's what?
A GIF.
What?
It's not a rhino, dude. He's a hippopotamus.
I thought you would say he's a GIF, like there's a
Human,
moving
no?
image of him. Yeah, he's a human.
Well, in that fact, he can be
Absolutely.
anything he wants to be. He's human. They
yeah.
have no disadvantages or problems. Only dreams and
Brad
aspirations.
Steelthorn, a memory of a campaign past. Last time I met this character, it was the year 2009, 2010. So yeah, 10 years ago. This emperor was actually the player character of a real person. So we are paying homage and honor to those that came before us.
Well, let's not accidentally murder him. Let's try our
Yeah,
best.
I don't see this guy anymore.
Sure.
Adrian, if you're looking at us, hi. Okay.
You gotta send him this after the fact. Like, hey, your character was in this. If you remember him, the party tried really hard not to murder him.
Not to murder you. Okay.
Unfortunately, we failed.
Is Shadow Throne
Yeah.
your PC or another character's PC?
Another character's PC. In fact,
Here's
that
the
was,
druid.
it was a Danish guy.
That explains
Waylander,
everything.
right?
Yeah, that was him. Yeah.
Was your PC the druid?
I was a DM as usual.
Oh. So, I mean, you were technically a druid.
Yeah, oh,
Crafter of worlds.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, in a way. In a way. In a way.
That's the level 30 that druid gets. They become crafter of worlds. They just ascend to DM mode.
Yeah, something like that. All right, so there you are in the throne room of the emperor, and I don't remember if you already asked any questions last time,
No, I
but
don't
he
think
was
we did.
there ready to answer your questions, or at least to understand who are you,
Yeah.
why are you here.
Well,
I think we literally said like hello and that was it.
I think
probably.
we just arrived and that was the end of the
That's good.
session.
That's great. That's great. That's a good start. Right,
Brock,
so-
Brock's sort of gonna look over at Alexander and he's got having one of those moments of like, am I gonna, or are you gonna?
Let's do it together.
All right. Our names are Alexander Radovich.
Brock Adamantite. And
Right.
these two fine fellows. This is Tarlin.
Tarlin Baindar.
And Yinkin.
And Yinkin Miadan.
Synergy!
Yeah. And we've come to you from beyond the multiverse, from the city of. Well, we've hung out in Sigil and we've got. Okay, look. You're an important king. We can appreciate that. We don't want to waste your time. We're here because we want to fuck with Shadow Throne.
Yes, what my friend here is trying to say in a less political way.
Not literally, like as in. Yeah.
Yes,
are here from the
yes,
outside.
I think I got that.
We hail from Sigil, mostly. We have a new base of operation, but that's being set up. We are here primarily in your world right now because we are hunting a newer god, a god of death. You may know him, you may not. I have no idea. His name is Shadow Throne.
I
He has
know it
stolen
very
the
well.
power. He has
Dude,
stolen the power from
We
the
know
old
they
Raven
were
Queen.
friends. We know that.
That is true. Well, we were adventuring companions. He has helped us during our battle against Orcus to save the Raven Queen. Unfortunately, things did not go as we expected at the very last moment.
No.
As
He
we have
betrayed you
seen
and
that.
stole the power.
Yes.
Well, I wouldn't. I cannot say that he betrayed us, his companions. In the end, we were there mostly to stop Orcus, which we did. We were there to save the Raven Queen, which we did in a certain way. We just did not know that Shadowthrone had such plans for the Raven Queen.
Did you know about his alliance with Lolth?
That is something that we have discovered in the years that came next. See, the introduction of Shadow Throne as the new god of death has changed things in the world of Tira. I have traveled some planes in my career together with my companions, and during our adventures, it has happened that some have risked so much that they have been forced, or that it has happened that they have died. But our spellcasters have always brought them back to life. Well, since Shadow Throne has become the new god of death, no one that dies on Tira can come back to life.
Which is most unfortunate.
Yeah, something like that happened on my world too.
In your word?
He comes from Forgotten Realms, so there's the death curse, right?
Ah. Is it over already? I don't know. I don't know. Time-wise, where are we? Okay.
We are where the plot demands.
It has happened. Maybe it's happened in the past.
If the DM
Sarah
decided
Rack's
it,
dead,
it could be a
so-
spell plague.
Yeah. Acerak is dead, so probably those events already happened. Yes.
Is
Also,
he
on
dead?
Fumbles and Fame, somebody already played that campaign. So I would
That's
say
true.
that to keep the continuity of Fumbles and Fames, yes, the death curse has gone and passed.
Nice.
So yeah. So he says, since the last 20 years, those that die stay dead. Of course, this isn't something that has affected, how should I say, the day-to-day life of the common people. Bringing back somebody from the dead was, I admit, a privilege that only a few could pay for.
Yeah, I get you.
And I suppose that, in all honesty, I cannot say that I miss this opportunity. That should be, life should be a precious gift, and knowing that you only have one will make you appreciate it even more.
But it doesn't irk you that the souls are going to him.
It is our word. This is how it works in our word. Once again, I suppose we cherish a life more, knowing that what expects us later
So,
is not as good.
how did the drow win?
Yeah, how did that come to happen?
He says, this is ancient history. I have never known a world where the Dark Elves did not rule, I must say. We're talking about a different age. I know some of our history, of course. It's something that we all study at school. I must say that I wasn't really the best student at school, but maybe I could have a few of my priests tell you the story of what happened before.
Please.
The
That would be
history
much
would be
appreciated.
quite interesting.
Yes. I'm the way I remember it. You were like in his throne room, and there was a meeting up with some other, maybe counselors and stuff. So he will like summon one of the priests. So these are priests of Athun, the god of victory, and you see they're normally dressed in red with this golden hammer as a symbol of their god. And so this priest steps forward and he says, "In the beginning, there was only chaos."
Dark Soulsy beginning.
And yes, and one moment. God. So yeah, in the beginning there was only chaos. Heaven and hell fought for dominance, and from this war, the Word was born, Tira. But heaven and hell created a cataclysmic event that shut down the connection with their own realms, and so angels and fiends were forced to remain here. The essence of hell was sent deep into the Underdark, while the essence of heaven shot up to the sky. The combined power of these two entities created the dragon, the very first mortal creatures to live on Tira. And then another age came, where the dragons fought for dominance. Some of them aligned with evil, others aligned with good. And once again, the world was scourged by war and fire, dragon fire. Tira would not have survived such an event. And so it was that the dragons, each of them created servitor races to fight their war for them The evil dragons created the orcs, while the good dragons, from the Tree of Life, they created the Eladrin, the first elves. And from more of this primordial soul material, the dragons created other races, each of them taking on the traits of the wonders of the world. From the mountains came the dwarfs, from the hills came the halflings, from the glaciers came evil creatures, giants, and then from the deepest reaches of the Underdark came the Dark Elves. But the Dark Elves did not come alone. They came with a goddess, the Spider Goddess. The Dark Elves were very cunning. They united the evil races and they fought against the goodly races. And they were about to win. Until from the west, from the sea that has, everybody knows, was created from the very rain that fell from the sky. From the sea came the humans. They were different from the others. They had an advantage against the Dark Elves and their evil armies. The advantage was humans were not good. They fought to win, for they brought with them their god, Atun, the god of victory. Humans, they were as strong as orcs, as cunning as elves, and ruthless, just like the dark elves in the Underdark. They fought against the Dark Elves and they sent them back into the Underdark. As a gift to the humans, the elves taught them magic, wizardry. The Dragon Lords ruled with their sorcerous powers, but the great wizards of men rose in power. And then it came the time where once again there was war, for the Dragon Lords could not bear to see their power shared with the humans. And so wizards learned wizards from the high towers of Magistria fought against the sorcerous powers of the Dragon Lords and the Dragonborn. Once again, there was war, and the world was covered in magical fire. And then, in the same way as they had gone, when we were at our most weak, the Dark Elves came back, uniting their divine power with the magic they had stolen. They created the Black Monoliths. The Black Monoliths lifted from the very ground up into the sky, and from their tip, black clouds started to spread. From each of their city, one great monolith arose, and together they covered the whole earth in shadow. They were able to fight among their armies of evil, the Dark Elves. There was nothing to stop them anymore. Only thanks to the magic of the great priests and of the wizards of Magistria, we were able to lift our country above the clouds and make a life under the sun once more.
That was epic.
Yeah,
So-
very good.
The
I
priest says,
figure, guys-
I will be here all week.
I figure, guys, we're gonna have to start knocking these crystals out of the sky and piss off Shadow Throne so he comes to the material plane.
Yeah. Emperor Rudd,
Yes.
I think we should be very clear with what our intentions here are, because it may end up benefiting you in the end. We are here for one simple goal. The Bull of Vengeance seems to believe that Shadow Throne needs to be dealt with. We believe he needs to be dealt with. Most of us, one of us is a bit impartial in the matter. But
It sounds like you yourself are quite impartial on the matter, so...
most of us agree that Shadow Throne needs to be dealt with. And a way that we could do that is making him break a law of the gods, as far as we've been able to collect from the Bull of Vengeance. One of those ways is making him come to the material plane to create some problems. I.e., kill us. To be more blunt. And to do that, we believe, or our original plan so far until we learn of other things, is to just create enough problems until his master, Lolth, says, go deal with that. In which case, like a good lapdog, he probably will end up doing so. Which will be our time to strike and cut him out of the picture. Hopefully permanently.
Emperor Rad looks at you, considering what you are saying, but the priest of Atum says, if I understand correctly, you think you can challenge a god?
We know.
But this would upset the balance of the pantheon. What are we going to do without the god of death?
There will be.
Well,
the Raven Queen will get her power back.
There are a few options
Probably.
there. We can restore the Raven Queen if we can get a shard of pure evil from Lolth. She seems to have control of one. That's a crazy thing, I know.
See, now they are both looking at you very... I mean, the priest is completely, flabbergasted. Emperor Rad is more like, I don't doubt that you think you may do this. I mean, remember what I would say, I'm not even saying that it's impossible. What me and my companions did was maybe similar. We fought against Orcus as he tried to become a god, and we stopped him from becoming a god. Clearly, he wasn't a full-fledged god, and I can tell you, my friends, that was a battle that I will never forget. That we could only win with the help of the Raven Queen, even though she was much weakened. And after a very, very long process, I can guarantee you the things we had to do. We fought the primordial Timesus in order to achieve the power to face Orcus. So I cannot begin to imagine what you would need to fight a full-fledged god. But when you do mention the Shard of Pure Evil, that is a weapon that I know for sure can affect a god, since I have seen it used on the Raven Queen when Shadow Throne pierced her heart.
Yes, that is... I've done some research on the matter, and it's the only way to de-seat that type of thing.
Well, that we know.
So we would need to... That I have been able to find. That we know of.
The thing that the priest, though, asks is...
Well,
what
he
is
is
your
weakened,
grudge?
so...
What is your grudge with Shadow Throne?
Personally, I don't have a grudge. I'm at this point in it for the fun and the excitement. Brock here wishes to have his soul back. He did a really dumb idea, made a deal with a shadowy, shady bastard. So he
For
is
something
fighting
he
for
already
his soul.
was. So it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, wouldn't that... Well, pardon me, of course, but wouldn't that be your first priority? Trying to get back what you have lost.
Yeah, but he wanted me to kill my siblings to do it. I'm not going to do that.
I see Rad gets very incensed. Of course not. you should never give up to terrorist demands.
Spoken like a true American. Hey.
But if you are planning to fight Shadow Throne somehow, I'm supposing that, and if you are planning to piss him off, as I understand it, in order to provoke him, well, I guess that would be a very good first step, right?
Yes.
Trying to take back what's yours without doing what he said.
Yes. I really just want to see him out of the picture permanently. At this point, it's more in my best interest to show him who's boss and hopefully dethrone him. Right now, he's a bit weak. He doesn't have all his power, you see. He contracted a few individuals to collect some items that have his power. He has not gotten them yet. Currently, we are holding on to them. Oh, I gotta see what was typed. Hold on. Yes, that's the final step. Shh, don't tell anyone. Spoilers.
Spoiler alert. Yeah, well, the priest who did not expect that it would be that kind of Monday, is like, how did you lose your soul to Shadow Throne?
He made me an
How did-
offer.
Yeah.
He said he'd basically make my dream of becoming the greatest artisan in the Megaverse a thing, but I did that, not him. So
And you bound your soul to him, like in some sort of ritual. What happened?
there was just some dude, shadowy figure.
Yeah.
On the shadow fell in a dream.
Yeah.
That said to make a deal and chase these coins that are fragments of his essence, which we've acquired.
So you only ever had contact with Shadowtron himself?
We have had no direct.
No, we
or
had
at
no
least I
direct
haven't.
contact with him.
So with who?
Oh, he's lackey. What was the name, Tarlin? He was a Goliath. Hooded Goliath.
Yeah, the lackey of Shadowtron.
If I remember right, you guys called him the Soulmonger every
Wait,
time we discussed
The
him.
priest will
No,
make
the soulmonger was someone else.
the priest will make a religion check, and I would say, could that have been the keeper of oaths?
Yes.
Maybe.
That's,
Well, of course, I am a high priest of Atum, but I make it my duty to know as much as I can about the competition.
As you should.
So I do know about some sort of dogmatic teaching of this relatively new religion of Shadowthrone, where those that bound themselves to him, probably to delay the time of their death, they make an oath to him, and that these oaths are kept in a book, the Book of Oaths, and that the book is kept by the keeper. Of course, this is all, how shall I say, catechism of Shadowthrone. But if you have met the keeper, then I suppose that the book really exists.
Yeah, and that would be a way to free all the other souls too, right?
If they have not yet been taken. Yes.
Yeah.
So I
Could be a
suppose
way
that
about
would
it.
be a good... For those that have not yet given up their souls, your oath is still in the book.
Well, that's an avenue we can search for you, Brock.
Yeah, that's news. Maybe we only need to get this keeper dude and fuck his shit up.
Well, I'm still going to go for the big prize. All or nothing, right?
Yeah, but one step at a time. We get the book. That's the kind of stuff that provokes Shadow Throne.
That could be the way to do it. Yes.
Clearly, if you get that book, I'm pretty sure that Shadowtron will be incensed.
I like the sound of that. Question is how to
That's-
meet with the keeper without going to the Shadowfell.
Well, you have a spell for that, don't you?
I do, but
I can
Well,
plane shift
something
us
to look
there.
into it.
no. We cannot go to the Shadowfell.
No, we
We
should
go to the Shadowfell. We're fucked.
Shadow
Shadow
Throne rules
Throne's
there,
realm.
mate.
Yes.
We are able to gate him.
We are able to gate him.
We should keep this in mind for later instead of discussing such things in front of the Emperor.
I kind of want to go and fuck up these cloud making machines, though. To be honest.
Yeah, I
Yes.
don't know why do you think the cloud making machines would draw a Shadow Throne here? Sounds more like they would draw the attention of Lolt, and I mean, she has more servants than just him.
Yes, but
Are you afraid of
Piss
Wolf
off.
all of a sudden, huh?
I'm not exactly afraid, but I don't see what we have to gain with.
You know, some
Drawing
people just
her
say she's a
attention.
demon queen, and that's it. Not even a goddess.
if we anger Lolth enough, we might be able to find information on where the Shard of True Evil is. Which, we find that, we have a way to knock down the big guy, which helps us in the future.
That is, if
It's
our weapons might already be able to do it. They're supercharged. The gods of Olympus seem to think they could do serious harm. They're artifacts. That kind of shit can fuck a god up. The thing
Well,
is,
Your weapons, we'll have to see if my weapon is up to snuff, Brock.
don't say that. I can
I
bring
trust
it
in
up
this
to
bow
snuff if it
100%,
needs
buddy.
to be. We know the right forge. Mum's the word.
Yeah.
We just need to supercharge it like a lot.
And we can see about that. But one step at a time. One step at a time.
Well, if you
We
need
have
some
a
time to discuss this, you are of course my guest, as
Oh.
long as you want.
Oh, that's really nice. Do you have any world-altering missions we need to undertake to gain your confidence?
He says, I consider myself a pretty good judge of character. You know, I've seen things, and I kind of recognize in you a similar quest to what we and my companions have faced in the past. The one thing that though I also need some time to consider is, I understand that you made a pact with Shadow Throne and you want to, let's say, have the chance to go back on this pact. I'm just not sure, and I will have to discuss this with my priests, if angering a god of our pantheon will it's something that we should condone here in Amerborg. I mean, Sharathon has been a god for the last 20 years, and the rest of the pantheon has done nothing against him, which I believe, and he looks at the priest, and the priest nods. I believe it means that they have accepted it, clearly through the intercession of Lolt. But if there is something I've learned in the long years of my adventuring career, and in the much longer years of my role as an emperor, and then his shoulders go big down, is that there cannot be light without darkness, and balance must be maintained.
Oh, this place doesn't look that balanced, matey, if you've got the entire planet covered in darkness.
Well,
Yes.
unless
So-
we knock down every obelisk on the planet, I also don't know if it will even put a dent in the.
Hey, that could be a great idea for the next campaign. No.
Emperor Rudd,
Yes.
I don't think we're asking you specifically for help on Shadow Throne.
Yeah.
Right now.
So
No,
far,
that-
you haven't.
That can come later when you feel a bit more confident and have more trust in us. Right now, we are going to be operating in this world. Likely, we're going to cause a lot of problems. You're going to hear a lot of chatter about us. We are not known for our subtlety. Most of us are not known for our subtlety. Specifically, our dwarf. All I ask is that whatever headway we make on the Dark Elves, make use of. You don't even have to endorse us publicly, secretly, whatever. Just know there's a lot of shakeups going to start happening here soon.
So that is why I'm offering you our hospitality for the moment. And if you want to keep me informed about your plans, I would consider it a favor.
The only question I have immediately,
Mm-hmm.
other questions I can send you letters on and you can reply as your time allows. Do you know of ways to knock down the obelisks, or is that something we will have to figure out ourselves?
The obelisks are they I do not think that they can simply be brought down. I mean, we are talking about around each obelisk there is a dark elf city that grows, a metropolis, so to say. And these obelisks are, I'm supposing, maybe a mile wide, and they reach up to the sky as far as the clouds go. Maybe a wizard. He calls for a servant, and
We'd probably have to start by taking out the entire metropolis then.
No, you
he
just go
calls
hit
for a
the keystone,
servant,
cornerstone.
and he says, the servant comes back. They discuss some stuff. The emperor says, we will give you some rooms, and tonight one of my wizards will perform a clairvoyance spell to show you one of these cities of the Dark Elves.
All right.
Then maybe you can have an idea of what we're talking about.
All right. And a personal question.
Yes.
Perhaps your archpriest can answer this. Are there any, in your pantheon, is there any active deity of the sun, of light? That we
Yes,
can
of
seek
course. Well, to the south, you must know that our pantheon is not only composed by gods and goddesses. In fact, there is only a couple of them, but mostly we have people that believe in a common force, in a common philosophy, and that gives them divine power. So to the south there is another floating island, and that is ruled by the Supreme Church of the Light. They just venerate the light as a source of life and strength and hope, as the gift that those angels that came and created Tira in the very beginning have left to humanity. So it isn't a god per se, but it's a religion.
Do they have an acting
Open close
champion?
parenthesis, similar to, I don't know, the light of World of Warcraft, let's say.
I haven't played World of Warcraft.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, they believe in the light as a concept.
Do they have a champion? Like you have your masters of the schools.
Well, the floating realm of the Holy Lands of the Light, they are ruled by a theocrat, Garadus Brightwarden, who is the prophet of the light, and his servants, well, his advisors, are the 7 knights of virtue.
That's all the questions I have. Those are potential leads me and my friends can follow up on.
Looking forward to the clairvoyance thing.
Yeah, that will be incredibly helpful. Thank you.
Very well done.
And,
Thank you for having awoken memories of adventure and heroism in me. I will have much to think about today.
Anytime. If we can be of use while we're here, let us know.
I will. And yes, they will give you some rooms there in the palace. And whatever you need, they will provide it if it's mundane.
Oh, so we can't just ask for a pet dragon to ride around on?
Yeah, probably not.
Damn.
Damn.
There goes that option, boys.
Right. So yeah, you are in your rooms.
So, maybe we've been going about this the whole wrong way. If we just get that book back, I mean, Shadow Throne's gonna want that. Could
Yeah,
use
he'd
that as
be
a
quite
bargaining
pissed
chip.
off if we destroyed his Book of Souls and made him start back at square one on that whole deal thing.
Well, we don't have to destroy it. We could just say we will destroy it unless you give me back our souls, give us something nice to barter for the actual coins, and free our friends that he's already gotten in his service, right?
That could be a way to go about it, yes. A lot less nuclear than my beliefs, but then again, I much more believe in certainty.
Look, I don't mind the idea of fucking up Shadow Throne's shit and stealing his power or returning it to the Raven Queen, whatever the path might be. But I'd want to know that we can fuck his shit up. I think the first step to fucking that shit up is actually fucking that Goliath shit up.
There is a good idea in destroying his allies before going for the throat.
Well, I do agree. If we cannot take out the Keeper of Oaths, then we have no chance against Shadow Throne himself, do we?
So
No. You gotta thin the herd before you go for the throat of the chieftain.
It would
never
let
good
us
to get
measure
stampeded.
our power. You think we can gate him in somewhere?
I'm not super sure on how gate works. I'm just a ranger. But don't they have an option in the matter?
I mean, if he's
I
not
don't
an
think-
actual god, I think it can be done.
Yeah, but I wouldn't do it here, and I wouldn't do it in our fortress, and I don't think it works in Sigil. So, where would you want to do it?
I mean, here in this city, no, but surely we can find somewhere on the surface that it can be done.
Where he has access to armies of Drow to support him.
Well, what
I
about
think-
somewhere where there is a natural realm of light to?
Wait, I will stop you for a moment before you make plans about something that you know it works differently. So gate will only bring an entity whose name you know. A title is not enough.
Okay.
So the Keeper of Oaths is not enough. That's his title, and you don't know
So-
his true name. Yeah.
All right. So we need to learn the Keeper of Oath's true name, basically.
If you want to gate, yeah.
I don't think Legacy Lore would do that either, sadly. Might need a wish spell for that one, boys. You know, a simple feat such as that.
yeah. We have wishes aplenty.
You know. I mean, we've already had 4.
Do we have wishes? No.
now.
We don't have any left, right?
That I know of, no?
Last I checked, we used the 3 from the genie and that magical orb thing to make a bomb.
And a legend law can't tell your name.
I don't think we used our wish to make the bomb. Wasn't it that crystal itself that exploded?
Yeah, I think you use the wish to like open the door or teleport.
Yeah, we used all our
Yeah.
wishes in the Azirak tomb.
Yeah, I mean, I know we did use a wish on it. That's...
We're tapped out of wishes. I'm almost certain on that matter.
Yeah,
prepare-
I'm 100% sure of it.
I'm
So
going
we'd
to
have to go
prepare
hunt
a
for
legend lore so that we can maybe learn some more information in the short term.
Yeah.
Wonder
I
is
do think-
it would probably be a native to this
Well, I was surprised the king didn't say
world,
anything.
right? The Keeper of Oaths. I mean, it would make sense that he'd be recruited from this world.
Depends.
Is there a Church of Shadow Throne on this world?
It could have been a contact he made during his adventuring days as well, so that is something we could follow up on with the Emperor when he has more time. If he knows any contacts that Shadow Throne had during his adventuring days, that we could trade a list, a potential Keeper of the Oaths list,
Let's start summoning people in.
and we can just go across picking them off. We're probably going to be in this land for some time.
Or if we're in the seat of his religion, maybe it's esoteric knowledge known by the high-ups in the Church of the Shadow Throne.
Yeah, that could be a simple kidnapping job as well.
Well,
Run in, bonk them, drag them right out through a portal.
yeah, again, if we know who it is. God, I feel like each new place we visit just adds 3 more opportunities. And I'm
When
paralyzed by
everything
choice.
could be over, I simply
Murder! Like, simply the obvious option here is walk into a city, shoot enough arrows until people give us what we want, or they send an army, or we shoot more arrows. They will eventually give us what we want, or we will die. Those
Awesome.
are
Okay.
obvious options. Let's not do that.
No, it's not.
And let's not make a dirty bomb yet.
Okay. I was referring to something else, but that's okay.
Yeah, I guess we go see this clairvoyance thing then.
Yes.
All right. Yeah.
go do
You
that.
are given the chance to refresh yourselves if that's what you want. I don't know if you usually bring spare clothes with you. So
I
yeah,
just cleaned mine.
they will. So at the evening, they will of course provide for a little banquet for you, visitors from another plane of existence. You don't look so different from us. And and yes, there will be also there a robot figure. You see that this person wears a mask. It looks a bit like a wooden totemic mask that has like a slit for a mouth and some openings, some round openings for eyes, and he has his hood pulled over. And the emperor is there, the archpriest is there, and this robot figure is there. And they bring you to this room where there is like, in the room itself, there is a big pool of clear water. And already the wizard is like drawing some runes around the pool of water. The emperor is there. When you arrive, he greets you once more. He says, I'm hoping that everything is all right. You have been treated well. You don't need anything.
No, treated very well, thank you.
Yeah, we're quite fine.
Most kinds.
Question is do you need anything?
He says, well, there is much that we need. I mean, we have to reconquer our world.
We'll get on that here in a bit. Don't worry
Okay,
about it.
Okay. Thank you.
If
Oh,
you
the
got some
day's work.
plans, yeah.
Give us like a week.
What did you say, Incan?
All in the day's work.
Only a day's work. Okay, very well. And so then he looks at the robot figure with the mask, and he says, "Show us Delazar." And the wizard starts his incantation, and you see that in the waters of the pool, you can start to see an image. And then the wizard kind of like lifts his chanted voice higher, and the image in the water starts to come out of the water to show a bit of a three-dimensional image of something, of a miniature city, so to say. Well, miniature, it is still gigantic inside this big room, and then you see it. So basically, you see this Darklands, the ground, the earth, well, Tira, which is a wasteland of barren, broken lands. And in the sky, there is these dark clouds covering everything and constantly moving. And then you see this monolith coming out of the ground, and in the tip of the monolith generating all these clouds. And basically, here at the base of the monolith, there is a city all around it. So just to make you understand, so this would be buildings and towers and castles and a whole city built all around this monolith. And what you see is that the city itself, it has walls, of course. And Tarling, you recognize Dark Elf architecture for sure. But then for miles and miles around the city, outside of the walls, you see tents, encampments, huts of orcs, goblins, bugbears, ogres, trolls. Probably for the tens of thousands of dark elves that are in the city, there are hundreds of thousands of these humanoids living all around and outside of that city. And even there in the city, you see like parades of dark elves with their goblinoid slaves, several temples to the Dark Queen, other more terrible things. It reminds you a lot of, you come from Skullport, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but you've probably seen some of the cities of the Dark Elves, maybe Menzoberranzan and things like that. It reminds you a lot of that.
Yeah.
And there is this impossible to exist monolith growing out of the city, 1 mile wide, and so I want to say probably 10, 15 miles high. And the high priest looks at it, with much discomfort, and the emperor looks at it with some sort of, veiled rage, or but at the same time respect for his enemy, and he says, "This is what we're fighting for," and that is only one of the cities. Darklands there are tens of those cities, dozens.
How many of these cities are there?
We have counted 30 so far.
Well,
Well,
start
it
with
goes
one.
to show what the Dark Elves can do if they're united.
Yeah,
in
they can
our
make
world,
ugly
they're too
architecture.
busy fighting each other to really achieve anything.
Disgusting.
I'm afraid you are right. But you're a male. I suppose you do not bow to the matriarchy?
Actually, one thing I was trying to figure out, how does my character look under true sight? Does he still show with all the modifications, like the white skin, the black eyes, the etc.?
On true side, yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Because?
so he doesn't really look like a dark elf anymore right now.
Because you're white, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, of course.
He's done the full Michael Jackson.
He's gone full Michael Jackson. Yeah, okay. But I would say that still, these are unsettling things about you. Didn't you have you were polymorphing, or you're not doing that? Am I confusing this with
Yeah, I
something?
thought you used
No, I
some magic to
had
dispel
originally
it.
altered self into a human, but
Yeah.
Okay,
I
sorry.
figure most magic defenses would see through that at least. But
Well,
I
they
wasn't
don't seem
sure.
to have don't seem to have permanent suicide. So
Okay.
okay. So what
Yeah.
are you looking at? What are you looking as?
Right now, just human then,
Oh,
actually.
you just okay. Then it will not make that comment. So you mentioned the power of dark elves, so I thought you were dark elves. Okay, then he will not say that. But yeah, he looks at this as, you know, this is the battle that he will have to fight for the rest of his life, and he's not sure he can win it.
So you don't know how they were created or how they can be destroyed.
He says, "I do not know that anybody has ever been able to destroy one. No.
Have they tried?
I have tried many times to lay siege to one of the cities of the Dark Elves. That I have done, yes. But
How do you guys fly down?
we have sky ships.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Logical.
Does the enemy have sky ships as well?
The Dark Elves do not like to fly a lot.
Interesting.
Why
Also,
would they?
even
Get too
though
close to
even
the
though they
sun.
do have some stuff, yeah. The thing is, if they cross the dark clouds, then they would be here with us under the sun.
Yeah, of course.
And now they have lived since it is now ages that they do not see the sun. I am told that the dark elves, the darklands, are even more affected by the sun than, so to say, a dark elf from another world would be, since they have not seen it since ages.
I gotta give it to you. I didn't think there was any place worse than my home. Let's
Thank
fix
you.
this.
Thank you.
So a
Let's
dawn
fix
spell
this.
would do a lot of hurt to them. Nice to know.
If it
Let's bring the
even
sun
were
to them.
below the clouds here.
Yeah. Actually, that's a fair point.
Have any of your priests ever tried something like that?
Something like?
The kind of magic that would summon the light of the sun below those clouds during one of your sieges?
You see that the archpriest says that is an extremely powerful incantation.
Yeah, I
Not
can
many
do it.
can do that.
I can do it.
Have any done it?
Yes, if we could have 35 of you, then I suppose we could win this one.
Well, if you know a very
only have
powerful
2.
wizard.
Do you have a wizard that can do the clone spell?
You
No.
see, the wizard that was casting the divination spell says, I believe a master mirror mask would be able to do that.
You might be in luck then.
Yeah.
I warn you, he comes with some very serious drawbacks.
Do you
What
know if
does?
the drow occupy the Underdark as well?
That is where they were coming from. I do believe it still exists, but I do not know what inhabits it. Some legend says that the Dark Elves were forced to leave the Underdark because, as history teaches us, the Underdark is where the essence of the Fiends went to hide. So probably they were running away from something even worse.
Oh, well. Wonderful. Still one enemy at a time, shall we? I'm all for, like, fighting the whole planet, but one
He
step at
says,
a time, please.
this is not your fight, I understand it.
Well, yeah, we'll see. It might become my fight later.
Your Majesty, do you know if this? I mean, you were personally friends with Shadow Throne. Do you know where this Goliath dude has come from? The Oath dude.
Keeper of-
I didn't even know that the Keeper of Oath was Goliath. I mean, we're talking about, and he turns to the priest for confirmation. We're talking about something like the proxy of a god. I suppose that the form they choose to show you could be anything.
You mean
Well,
And
here's-
the archpriest says maybe he was a Goliath because he wanted to impress on you a sense of might in a certain way.
So you're saying it probably is Shadow Throne via a proxy?
The priest says, well, the proxy of a god is actually not a god himself. I would argue that, for example, the Bull of Vengeance is a proxy of Atum, god of victory. He is the manifestation. Well, he is like, you would call it like a champion of a specific god. Yes.
And in your
Right.
in your knowledge of things, since I'm not from this planet, I know a lot about forges and a little bit about Dwarf Lord Moradin and whatnot. But yeah, he's a good bloke, I know. But anyway, what would be the authority on trying to figure out who that proxy was before they became the proxy?
Well, taking once again as an example, Atum himself, the bull was an adventuring companion of the emperor. He was also a faithful servant of Atum, and he showed the right amount of rage and willingness to do violence to punish those that abuse their powers. So I suppose that I guess Shadowtron would look for someone that knows how to enforce an oath, especially an oath related to that.
This comes to an interesting question. For the Emperor himself, he would be the one to know. Did Shadow
You see
Throne
that the wizard says, "Do you still need the city of Delazar in view?"
No,
I
you
mean,
can
I'm
go
just-
and rest. It's all right. We'll get the picture.
Thank you. So he goes away basically. Yes, sorry, Alexander. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're fine. Do you know anybody who Shadow Throne dealt with often, or maybe another friend of his while you were traveling with him? If he were to raise a proxy, it would likely be someone he trusted.
I must say that Shadowthrone, or as we called him when he was among us, Waylander, his past was kind of clouded in mystery. He was a servant of the Raven Queen, but he wasn't just a dark elf. Once we had this discussion with him, and he said that he was something that had returned from that to serve the Raven Queen.
A revenant.
Yes, exactly what he said.
Undead. But he hates undead.
Yeah, he does. Maybe because he never wanted to be one.
Possible.
How much simpler things would have been if he never came back from the dead.
I'm afraid that somehow the Raven Queen herself brought him back to keep on serving him. He was a knight of the Raven Queen. She had given him powers to serve him beyond that.
What's he doing with all the souls?
I'm afraid, in a way, the Raven Queen created her own. I mean, was the harbinger of her own troubles.
Yeah. She seemed like a bit of a bitch, to be honest.
You see that the high priest laughs. Smiles a bit. Says, "We shall try to be respectful of all the gods."
Yeah, alright, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, he obviously I've noted Brock Adamantite, but anyway.
Excuse the dwarf. He is a dwarf.
I am becoming...
He is becoming the dwarf. I am sorry. But you have no idea on who we could probably follow up on leads?
So he didn't really talk about any friends, I must say. He was a a man, a dark elf with a mission, and
Right. Well, there goes the idea of kidnapping some guy for information.
Well, was he also a native to? He was a native to this world, right?
yes,
Okay.
that I know. Yes, I remember he had. He also wasn't very keen on the matriarchy
Okay.
of the Spider Queen.
Yeah, I can't blame him.
But then why get into bed with Lolth? It doesn't make sense. I guess to steal divine power is a good reason, but
He says, I'm afraid the only one that knows is, well, there's only two entities that know this.
alright
It could
guys,
be
we're gonna
quite
have to go see
possible
Lolth.
that he just has resentment for the Raven Queen after being brought back. He may have never wanted it. Might have gotten pissed off that he did. Decided to just switch sides. It's a tale as old as time. Loyal servant, wronged once, no longer loyal.
I'm afraid you may be right.
Yeah, it could be the simplest answer, and usually the simple answers are the answer.
I do not know if coming here has only given you more questions on it, or if
Oh,
it has
yeah.
helped you in any way.
No.
But the Sublime Way teaches that when the way seems confusing, all you need to do is focus straight ahead of you, like an arrow.
No,
Do
I know
not
a lot about
linger.
arrows.
Do not linger on choosing a target, but just shoot your arrow.
Right. I don't think we're gonna get much of anywhere with this line of questioning, anyways. I think there's wisdom in what he just said there. I think we just need to jump to action at this point.
Yeah. I still don't know where.
I think
Yeah.
we need to go see out these followers of light. They are far more likely to have researched and figured out ways to bring light to the darkness. It is their belief. It is probably what they're focused on. If not, they might have ways that we can begin making progress in this land. And just head to one of these cities and just see what's up.
Couldn't ask the Bull of Vengeance if he knows the name of this dude.
The Bull of Vengeance has seemed to. I would love to talk to him again, or the Prophet, but he seems
See
to
that
like
the
us
high priest
figuring
says
out
you talk to Little Benjamin.
Not
the
directly.
Prophet, but
The prophet was on your ward.
He's found us out a few times on multiple planes.
I see. He looks at the Emperor. He says, then clearly you must have been chosen.
He's spoken with us multiple times, sometimes in sigil, sometimes
Wait.
in.
Chosen for what? Is there a prophecy? Something to give us some direction?
Well, he says, since his ascension, the Bull of Vengeance has been gathering the most powerful heroes of the multiverse in his Hall of Vengeance to, well, clearly the will of the Bull of Vengeance is inscrutable for us, but I suppose there are troubles that would require the true masters of the multiverse to take care of, and if he has contacted you, maybe he's testing you.
All I know is he seems to be itching for a reason to smash Shadow Throne's skull in. The Prophet's made that pretty clear.
See that the Emperor says, yeah, remember they didn't go very, shall I say, they weren't the best of friends while we were all alive, while we were all in this world.
The Prophet, every time he's spoken to me, a few times now, everything just seems to be pushing towards make Shadow Throne slip up once. That's all the Bull seems to be wanting. That
So-
one slip up.
What is the Bull, Athos's mission here? ultimately?
The priest says Athun is not only the god of victory, but he's also the god of the human race. He is the protector of the empire of Aduria. If I should tell you what his aim is to make sure that humans prosper and win.
That sounds
think
like
his goal
barking
is
up
to
the wrong
return the
tree,
place
doesn't
to
it, for
their-
a dwarf and 3 elves?
Sorry, what do you say?
Who?
Both of you, one at a time.
Yeah, we spoke at the same time.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Brock.
I was saying, like, that seems like barking up the wrong tree for a dwarf and 3 elves.
Yeah, well, we do not really have gods of dwarves and elves in our pantheon, I must say. The gods, the dwarves, they are entrusted with the protection of the gates at the end of the world, and they venerate their ancestors.
Yeah,
While
well,
the
they should be
elves,
looking
they
ahead.
get their divine power from the tree of life.
Well, with what comfort it is, I think Athun is trying to use the bull to get you guys back your rightful land, the surface.
The emperor looks at you. Maybe it will take centuries, but we will get it back.
Yeah.
Good news for you, all of us races live for centuries. In fact, we're currently immortal from aging. Death by aging, that is.
Yeah, we kind of went to Olympus and drank the nectar of the gods.
Yeah.
Sounds like a sexual thing, but it's not. It's actually nectar.
Very well, you say.
And
I'll
bro,
share the stories with you at some point, Emperor. And Art.
Yes.
We have a few divine blessings of our own.
Now, I think that probably most of your questions will be related to the nature of the gods. So I will leave you with the high priest.
yeah, thank you, Your Highness.
Well, yes. And for what is worth, I wish you good luck in your endeavors, and I hope that you get back what you want. What maybe the only words that I would like to leave you with is the true warrior knows what real victory means, and that is not always the defeat of his enemy. Good luck. And he leaves.
Guys, I think we're gonna have to find out more about this guardian dude. I don't know about going to see these light dudes. It seems like there's no guarantee it'll bring us any closer to our goal. Let's spend the
It
night
likely
here, and
won't.
on the morrow I'll have a legend lore and see what I can dig up about the Keeper of Oaths. Probably not his name, but maybe it'll be a lead that's a little bit more tangible than let's go see the light dudes.
Yes. While you're doing that, I'm going to explore the city a bit more.
Right.
See if I can't find any priests who might know about particularly powerful weapons that we could make use of against these towers. Really anything, to tell you the truth. Grasp at any straws I can find.
Right.
Poor
I'll
Faust.
probably
I'll-
start at
I'll
the big
join.
tree.
I'll join Alexander if he allows me.
No, of course, I don't mind who joins me. Tyler, maybe you could get access to their biggest library and start digging through their books.
Yeah, that sounds like the best idea we've got so far.
Yeah, right now we are just in information gather mode. That's just how it's gonna have to be for the next day or two.
Yeah.
Right. So Yinkan and Alexander are going around town looking for information, while Tallinn is looking in some library.
Yeah.
And
Seems
what
to be
about
so.
Brock?
Legend lore.
And you want a legend lore? Okay.
I think he's gonna
So-
be on the round-the-clock legend lore.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so Alexander and Incan, one of you can make me an investigation check with advantage.
I think I have the higher investigation chance out of the two of us, Yinkin. I have a 14.
I don't know.
14. Yeah, I guess you do.
I will roll it.
I hear you very, very bad, Incan. Kevin. Like, yeah, worse than the usual.
Absolute max it could possibly be, a 34, baby.
Yes. So what are you looking for, Alexander?
Looking for information, individuals, anything that could lead us towards powerful weapons that might be useful against these monoliths.
Okay. So I think that with your natural 20, you would find information about the most powerful weapon that ever existed here in the world of Tira.
Oh, Jesus fuck.
The
Okay.
king's weapon, isn't it?
Oh, well, also because it belongs to the relatively recent history of this place. And in an extreme lunge of imagination, the historians of Tira have called this weapon the weapon.
Please be a power sword. Please be a power sword.
No, it's the weapon.
It is the weapon. It's just a switch army knife.
It's called the weapon. No. And you find information about how, in recent history actually, the emperor before Rad, a man called Nayur, he had actually found the weapon and used the weapon. And how the emperor and his companions actually fought against him to take that weapon from him. And how they, the weapon, yes. And how they succeeded into doing that with the help of all the 9 masters of the Sublime Way. What also happened is that when they finally defeated the emperor while he was even using the weapon once again separated in its basic components and scattered all around the world. Forever lost. Once again lost. That weapon was so powerful that almost ushered the destruction of this whole floating island when the emperor used it to just smash the ground and destroy the whole empire in one blow. But in the history is also told of how one of his companions, the shifter shaman, turned into a tree of life to keep the island together and save it. The second most powerful weapon from this world would be the 9 swords, which are the swords that are normally wielded by the 9 masters of the Sublime Way.
Sadly, I don't think we can get those weapons.
But what happened to the weapon?
Yeah, what happened to the weapon?
The weapon, when they defeated the emperor, the weapon kind of like was it got separated in some sort of component parts. It shot to the sky, and then the parts were like spreading all around the world.
Dragon Ball Z thing.
A bit like a Dragon Ball Z thing. Yeah, like that.
Bastard.
Sounds like a campaign in and of itself.
What do you say?
It sounds like a campaign in and of itself to retrieve that sword.
Yeah, probably. I think I even had a picture of the weapon, but I can't find it.
Somehow think we're not getting that thing.
What do you say?
It's a butter knife.
No, it's not about a knife. Actually, do you know the Witchblade? Do you know what that is?
Sounds familiar, but...
Have you ever heard of it? Well, okay. I found the drawing.
I think I've read a few comics from the Witchblade, yeah. Wasn't
Isn't
it
that the
like
thing that your sword's styled off of?
a
Tar-
gauntlet or something?
Oh,
Oh,
That's what it
okay.
looked like.
oh yeah.
So
it is a
it's
gauntlet.
Yeah. And what happened is that it is again. When you wore it, it would like cover yourself in armor and create any weapon you wanted to be wielded, but extremely magical. So that was what they had.
Okay.
And so you find information about this, but would that be able to destroy a monolith? Yes, together with probably a few 100 miles around the monolith.
Hey, when you gotta go nuclear, you gotta go nuclear.
That's
What's a
the
few
idea.
million Dark Elf lives matter, you know?
That's the idea. But why are you looking for this information? Because you want to destroy a monolith city?
That's kind of what Alexander's after.
That's what you're thinking, right?
And
Okay,
it would
so-
be a cool weapon for fighting.
No, absolutely. Okay, so in order to answer and give you a bit of context on both things, for what concerns having a cool weapon to fight Shadow Throne, you think that for a big part of your adventuring career, that is what you have been going after, and that is what you have obtained so far.
Yeah.
3 mythical weapons plus your crazy bow. So you think that is what you have already been doing, and those weapons you found them by scouring the planes of existence. So you don't think that what's here in this world is going to top what you found there in the realms of the gods.
Yeah.
And regarding destroying a full city, unless you can bring exactly a nuke to bear, or you have armies and time and campaigning and military endeavors being gone, that isn't something that is going to happen before Shadow Throne gets tired with all of you and sends everything that he has at you and just takes the coins.
Okay.
So you think there is need of a more immediate solution to this problem?
All right.
Yeah, sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, I wanted to turn to Tarlin and see what he was doing.
Yeah, I've got something, but I need to formulate how to ask
Okay,
him.
very good. So, while Tarlin, you are there in a library, right?
Yeah.
And what are you looking for? Yeah.
This is like one of the biggest libraries
Here in Ammerborg, yes.
Yeah. Okay. I will be looking for. Well, yeah, we have some time, so I would say looking for 3 things in particular. Firstly,
Alright.
if there's any more stories of new gods that ascended on this world, or if it's just Shadow Throne,
Okay.
and all the rest were there since the start. Anything I can find about soul magic, how to draw power from artifacts that work with soul magic, or
All right.
etc. And maybe if there's anything at all about the Shard of Pure Evil. I know we're not gonna get it, but maybe understanding some more about it might
Okay.
help
Then
as well.
the first thing I would like you to do then is an insight check.
Okay, I will be, of course, before I go to the library, I'll also keep my foresight active.
Yeah, of
To
course.
make sure, like to help me try and find the right book somehow.
Okay. All right. So you go to this library and you can make me your investigation check.
Investigation.
Okay, great. So you actually find the right section, the right place for as much as this library can contain this kind of stuff. And while you're there, taking several different books that have more or less the same topic in a way, you see a young girl with she has a young face, she has young eyes, and you're there sitting at your desk with all these books, and she's passing by, She seems to be human, like you are now, with a very very pale skin and long raven hair, and a bit of a gaunt visage to her, like she hasn't seen the light of day for some time. And when she notices all the books that you are reading, it's like and the topics of them: New Gods, Soul Magic, The Shard of Evil. She looks at you and she says, "I can see that you are interested in Shadow Throne."
Yes, exactly. I imagine you are too, since you bring the subject up.
Then she kind of bit weirdly kind of inhales and she goes like, "And I can smell Shadow Throne all around you," which is probably the smell of blood, right? That you emanate all the time.
Yeah. I don't think I can hide that smell.
No. I can see that you try to hide not only yourself, but your thirst for knowledge, the questions that you need answered. You should not make them here among these books. Then she gives you a hand. If you want these answers, come with me.
Sounds good. I will. And who would you be? Because you say I'm hiding myself, but would my name is Tarlin Baindar of the Dark Elves, but not of this world.
My name is Morwen.
Morwen, okay.
Yes. And I am
Pleasure
of
to
this
meet
world.
you.
And I do not think that our meeting was just by chance.
Doesn't seem so, no. But do lead the way, Morwen.
Okay, and she will take you out of this library and away from the richest part of town, and you cross the city, and eventually you start to get more where the slums are, and at one point to some kind of at the very edge of the city, almost against the walls, at what seems to be a little cemetery, a graveyard. And she enters the graveyard. You see that the keeper there seems to recognize her immediately, and he doesn't make any questions when you arrive. And she kind of brings you to some kind of private crypt outside of it. The door is made of iron, but it's a bit rusty. And well, you've been spending a few hours in the library. Probably it's dusk at this point. And she says, even though you mask it behind this illusion, I can see that you're not a friend of the sun.
Well, since we're in a crypt now, I'll drop the altar self.
Yeah, well, you're still outside. You're not inside the crypt. Like
Okay.
it's a bit a little like family mausoleum thing.
Okay. Yeah. Like I said, I'm from an underground world myself.
Yes, I think you are very near to Shadow Throne. You were since you were born.
I didn't think about that. I was born quite a while before his adventures. He only became Shadow Throne about 20 years ago, right?
That is true. But his divinity and his power is something that we all bring with us from the day that we are born. You know what I speak of.
All right. Well, we all carry the potential of death in us. That's for sure.
It is so. And to go against this most primordial power, to go against its teachings, that is anathema, that is heresy. And no one should be able to disrespect this. Do you not agree?
Well, I'm not that much of a true believer. I'm more like an how to say it, an ally of Shadow Throne, perhaps.
Do you not believe in that?
Oh, of course, I believe in that.
It isn't a matter of fate. It is a matter of accepting that Shadow Throne will come for all of us, and it is silly to fight against it.
All right.
But you have questions.
Yes.
I may seem young to you, but I am very wise. Make your questions.
Well, I've originally made a deal with Shadow Throne, and I would like to speak with the Keeper of Oaths again. Would you know how to call upon him?
You know how to speak with him. You are welcome in his house. Go to him. Speak with him. That is what you want, and that is what he wants.
I see. So did he lead you to me in this in the library?
Not in so many words, but I believe, yes, it is like this. As I said, it is not just a coincidence that you would come here to his home, but at the same time I feel that you are not from this place.
Was Shadow Throne the first deity to rise from mortalhood to godhood in this world?
In this world, yes. And he will be the last.
It seems to come quite regularly for deities of the dead. I recall something similar from my world, but I've never been that much into religion.
But in this world, the rules are different. Shadowtron has changed them, and now all must abide to them.
Yes, I heard something that the souls no longer pass on.
Including the gods.
What happens to the souls that die in this world?
They go to him.
He must.
They are all his souls now.
Does he have a afterlife where they live, or? I mean, I'm familiar with how souls are treated as currency in the lower planes, but I don't think he would deal with that market, does he?
Yes, you're familiar with this, right? You know how souls go to a place or another, and how the gods harvest them and treasure them, and some of them exchange them. What are we, Talin? Are we the coinage of the gods? Is this what we lived for? Not anymore, not in this world. Shadowrun has changed this.
So instead of being coinage as exchange between the gods, you're coinage that is hoarded by a god. Is that correct?
No, that is the true issue. That is the true answer. Once you die, nobody knows what happens. And finally we can have fate again. For how can you have fate when you know? Shadowrun has given us the greatest gift. Again, ignorance. We will cherish our life because there is no way to know what happens next.
And to me, that is what is anathema, ignorance. I went on this quest to know things.
And did you find out what you needed to know?
Some of it, most of it, actually.
Do you plan to know everything that there is to know in this world?
Perhaps not just in this world, I believe, but I think I have a lot of time to study.
I see. Well, I do not think that Shadowtron is on a schedule.
I see. So, do you know anything how Shadowtron's deals work?
What
Is he
you and
drop-
your companion found yourself into was something new, even for Shadowtron. And I do not think that it will repeat itself.
But you believe that Shadowtron is one who keeps his word, yes?
I do believe so, yes. All that he has promised, he has given. And he is a young god. And he does not trust many. In fact, he trusts only one.
The
I do
keeper.
not pretend to know what Shadowtron thinks, but here in this place, she looks around. They call me some sort of a seer or an oracle. You know what I really think? I
Do you?
think he's testing you, and he's trying to understand if you are worthy of his trust, and if he can rise you the same as he entrusted with his fate, with his trust, that other one.
Yeah.
The other
Well, the
one.
thing is, after what he did to the Raven Queen, I also don't know how much. Well, that's how he treats his at the time superior. I don't know how he really treats his lessers.
I am not here to persuade you or convince you, Tarlin. I only ask you to look at your past and tell me, how did you treat your superiors?
Fair enough. You might be right that we have some things in common.
Do I get a question now?
Sure.
What are you waiting for?
I've been waiting for my companions to come up with a plan.
I think you're only delaying this choice. And the more you wait, the less chances you have that it will go well for you.
I see. Well, you gave me a lot to consider. And perhaps you are right, we are on a deadline, quite literally.
I am glad if I have helped you, and I hope that I will see you again. If not here, maybe on the other side.
Perhaps. It doesn't sound like there's much of another side, though, from what I've heard from the way that Shadowtron treats those who die here.
She makes a big smile and she says, nobody knows.
I'd rather know before I commit to any other side. Goodbye,
And-
Morwen.
Goodbye, darling. All right. Well, Brock, what were you doing?
Legend Lore.
Yes. Link us the spell. Let's read a bit.
Cast it, yep.
Yeah. Wall of text.
Wall of text.
Wall of text.
Wall of text.
Whoops, sorry, I
Maybe I
might
should
have clicked it twice.
maybe I should read it from another source.
You name or describe a place, person or object. So in this case,
Yes.
a
The
person.
spell brings to your mind a brief summary of the significant lore about the thing you named. The lore might consist of current tales, forgotten stories, or even secret lore that has never been widely known. It is the thing you named isn't of legendary importance. Okay, the more information you learn is accurate, but might be couched in figurative language. For example, mysterious. Okay, very good. I think I'm ready. Yeah. So, what would you like? Name or describe a person, place, or object. Go for it.
Brock will describe the Keeper of Oaths physically, where he is, everything he knows
Yes,
in as
clearly,
much
okay,
detail as
the Keeper of Oaths. So we want to know more about the Keeper of Oaths. Okay. So, you are there. What are you doing this? Where do you do this?
I guess in the quarters were being provided by the king.
Okay, very well. So you're there in the course they've been provided by the emperor, and you begin to see a mountain. You don't think that these are the Shadowfell. It's a mountain with snow, and there is strong winds going all around it, and your vision then goes nearer to the mountain itself, and you see huts, or maybe like fortresses, and then huts around these fortresses, excavated in the mountains. And coming from these fortresses, there is fire. And then you see that coming out of one of these fortresses, there is giants. You see fire giants in one place. Not too far from it, you see another fortress, and there is frost giants coming out of it. And down at the base of the mountain, there is stone giants come out of it. It looks like a place where giants from different kinds kind of live together. At the top of this mountain, you see a temple that with symbols of storms and the forces of nature, and you see purple-skinned giants coming out of this temple and summoning the lightning itself. And then down below these mountains, in a vale, but still with huts built on the side of the mountains, you see this Goliath village. There are several temples, there are statues of the giants, of all the different kind of giants, and there is a Goliath that is climbing up the mountain, and the image of this Goliath climbing up the mountain kind of like mixes with real time and legend as he arrives at the top of the mountain, and he speaks with these storm giants, and they explain to him some sort of mystery, some sort of like the true force of nature and what matters most, and that is law and honor and keeping your word, and never ever go against your word once you have given your word. And things change around this Goliath, and you see him kind of like enforcing the law among his villagers first, and then traveling wide in a sort of oniric state, you see, and reaching places that you didn't travel the plains. It could have been Isgard at one point, it could have been Mount Celeste at another point, it could have been the Abyss at another point. But still, through the years, through the ages, this guy, this Goliath, always making sure that those that gave that word kept their word until some sort of he reaches a place where organic creatures are also made of are covered in plates of metal, and where perfect law is enforced, and they recognize his true spirit, and they essentially this scene where they're like covering this guy in molten metal, and he changes into some sort of giant made of metal, and then he sheds this metal, and you can see parts of his body not covered by these plates. And he keeps traveling and traveling and traveling, still enforcing the law, but this time with the perfection that has been given to him by these creatures, until he meets a shadowy figure. And there seems to be some discussion among them. And then the realization that there is one final oath that everybody takes and that must be always respected. And that is the oath that the day that we are born, where we swear that we will die. And he understands that that is his task. And so he joins this shadowy creature. And you see that he sheds all the metal, and instead of the metal, he's given this robe of darkness. And then he's put in some kind of mausoleum that looks a lot like those temples of the giants, and he's given a book. And the last thing you see in that book, one of the last lines, it's a name. And the name is
Brock Adamantine.
Brock Adamantine. And then you're back.
Do I think from this I can, having seen this place, describe it sufficiently that we could plane shift to it?
Yes, and if you make me an Arcana check.
Oh dear. Well, I've got +7. It's
come
not
on.
that bad.
You think that that temple is in the Shadowfell.
Fuck.
So who wants to go on a vacation without Uncle Tarlin?
You know, I think we're just gonna have to bite the bullet and go for it.
Might have to.
All right, so I'm guessing that after this nice day, you all meet up again there at the palace, unless you want to meet someone else.
Let's meet Brother
We
Tree.
have private rooms there, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, we don't know how private. Have any number
Up
of
to you.
observation runes or what have you.
Well, we have someone who can see.
This is true. Are our rooms truly private?
Well, we can just make a temple of Brock.
Hey,
If you got it. I'm just like a little paranoid. There's no way there's a palace with just private rooms. Come on now. Emperors are always wanting to know everything that goes on in their palace.
Fair
Maybe it's
enough,
just me
yeah.
being paranoid, but that's the place. You say it's private and then put like runes and stuff to gather information.
that's the mental place where I am now. Paranoid. That's it.
Well, you don't make it to level 20
Absolutely.
being trusting.
That's a fact.
Unless you're a paladin, and then you just go by pure will and gusto.
Okay. All right, so you make your temple?
Yep.
All right, so you make your temple, and yeah, so you feel a bit more safe. And there you are, all together.
Well, heads up on our information. If we're gonna stay in this place and go after those monoliths, the only way I can figure taking them down is quite literally leveling the whole city with enough explosives. Or anti-magic fields power enough to suppress an entire monolith.
I don't think staying here in this world will be all that interesting. Shadow Throne will send his armies after us before that happens. Before we have a chance to even conquer one city.
Yeah, my hope was to at least start to agitate them, draw attention to other areas, bring down a monolith, give these people some hope, and maybe find a super cool weapon thing from this place because we've collected a lot of them.
Alexander, the boa mage, mate, it's pretty freaking awesome, to be honest.
It wasn't to replace the bow, don't worry.
We can return when we know what our future is, but
Yes.
I've learned some information.
I'm glad you did. Everything I came up with just points to there was a super powerful weapon, it's in pieces, and the 9 dudes who run this place have the other most powerful weapons. Nothing to help us fight monoliths or anything.
There's nothing here that isn't a long-term fight, and we don't have that much time. And in
And-
fact,
Yeah,
I've confirmed
exactly.
that.
I've also confirmed that we don't have much time. I will say if we don't have a plan by the end of the week, I will turn in the coins just because I don't trust that we can hold on to it much longer.
well, how about this? My plan is we go to the Shadowfell.
Okay, I can agree to that.
Well, I hope you have an idea, because
I've seen a place where they're similar to temples of storm giants. The one that got away. But on top of that, that is where I've seen the book. And it seems this dude follows absolute law, maybe being a Mechanist was this fancy, I don't know, half man, half metal thing, or half Goliath anyway, and then gave that up to become Shadow Throne's lackey, keeper of the book. But it looks like he has some kind of weird resting place, temple in the Shadowfell. And I mean,
what a downgrade.
sooner or later, Shadow Throne's gonna come to us. Maybe we don't try to kill him just yet, or I don't know. But I think we should just go to the Shadowfell and see if we can find this place. And Talon, getting to the point where frankly I'm just frustrated. I want to get this done with.
I agree.
So let's go and see if we can get the book. Great. I can barter
Yeah,
it.
sounds good. Yeah.
So can you get us there then?
I can get us to the Shadowfell. That's his realm. So yeah. The coins, by collecting all 7, they function just like your forks do.
Well, this could get a bit dangerous.
It's possible that Shadow Throne himself hijacks the spell and sends us directly to him, but
I do want to point out
Man.
how stupid of an idea this is. We are going to
Okay.
his domain. There is nothing stopping him once we step across that border. That he just blasts us all into non-existence and takes the coins.
Well, we could get in your
it
friend.
sounds
Being
like he
even into
believes in
non-existence.
law and well, yeah.
Yeah, it's not this keeper dude I'm worried about. It's Shadow Throne. He can blast me and Yinkin. No reason for him not to. We're in his domain at that point. Brock, I don't think he gives a shit about your life anymore, so he just throws you in a pit. That's good luck. And gives good old Tarlin here an ultimatum. I'm just saying, this is real sketch. I don't like it.
You know what? Tough. We're doing this.
Well, fuck it. It's not like my soul's gonna go anywhere terrible.
Well, it's
Let's
not like
go
we'll
now.
be gaining much by just keeping up traveling the plane. Sooner or later, he'll catch up to
Exactly. We're
us.
delaying the inevitable.
Delayed enough, he might piss him off till he comes through it himself. His beauty and patience.
I would have liked to be immune to necrotic damage before going to the shadow fell, but I have to make do.
Resistance, though.
So I'm fine. It's
Yeah, it
gonna be
doesn't bother
fine.
me. My worry is not the necrotic damage; it's the being in the realm of a god who doesn't much like me, type thing that kind of rubs me a little bit the wrong way.
Consider it a spy game thing.
That's not at all what this is, but I'll take it as a story. Sure. Look, I'm not saying I'm not going. I just want it to be very well known how dumb of a fucking idea I think this is. Like, this is grade A. Might as well just point the bow at myself type plan.
Well, if you want, I'm sure Brock can gate you back to our fortress.
I'll just have you know very well, if shit goes horribly wrong, I might just run away.
Well, I could also gate in the one that's promised to help us.
I don't think Lavarian's gonna have a very fun idea of just being gated into a shithole.
Not Lavarian. Someone much friendlier with the Shadowfell.
Hey, whatever, man. I ain't got those powers. I'm just a dude with a bow.
Yeah, I should have put a tree right? I told you there's this giant tree.
Suddenly, a moving tree appears.
Yeah, no, it's always been there.
Awaken it.
It's already awakened.
Let's go before I
It
start
was
having
a person
some fun.
before. Okay.
Yeah, it has to be huge or smaller. I don't think I can go for the world tree.
Is that like in relation to you? So if we make you big enough, will huge technically be the tree?
He's not going to get to sync with Titan Lust. I mean Titan Well.
Title well.
Just saying. Do we know of any Tarrasques in the area we can just unleash if we need to? Is this like an option?
By the way, you know they have leaked one of the new magical items that will be in the next adventure of the official adventure of Wizard of the Coast, and it's a scroll of Tarrasque summoning. So,
That
yeah.
would be a good
you
way
find the
to
So it's a thing,
take
right?
out those obelisks.
I guess, yeah. Here, fight Gojira. Let's see what happens. Yeah.
I mean, I have an idea of how we can get rid of those obelisks, but it's kind of it's a real you go one way type deal, and it involves multiple bags of holding, all set up in a line. They can't affect this realm if they're on the fucking ethereal, or not ethereal,
Astral, no.
astral plane. That's a real classic fuck you and fuck me move.
Right.
So I guess we rest up, tell the king thank you, and portal into the Shadowfell.
Okay, so you will go to the Emperor once again, eventually, probably the day after or something.
Yeah.
Okay. So this could be your last day here in Tira. Okay, then I think that, Tallinn, maybe we should have one last talk.
Okay.
So while you trance in the evening, in your private room, you're there, deep in your trance, thinking about the words that Morwen has told you, and okay, supposedly, since you are a dark elf, I don't think you keep a light in your room.
No.
No. Okay. And so while they're in complete darkness, you start to hear then whispers coming from the walls. And actually, those whispers say, "There can never be shadow if there isn't at least a little bit of light." but you are in complete darkness right now.
My shadow has gotten a bit uppity lately. I prefer to be in the darkness.
Every time I try to reach out to you, you deny me, Talin.
I'll be visiting soon.
Light a little light and let's speak.
I will just summon my dancing lights.
Okay, so your dancing lights, they start to create shadows in the room. And from these shadows, you see a form starting to take shape. And it is actually a dark elf dressed in noble black clothes. It is a way you have never seen Shadow drawn before. He's just dressed with the noble black velvet clothes, soft boots, rings of obsidian on his hands. He's a dark elf, just a handsome dark elf with long silvery hair. And the only thing that's different from all the other dark elves, apart from this uncanny beauty, is that his eyes are two pools of blackness in which you can mirror yourself in a certain way. But you've never seen him so physical. He's always been like a shadow or just a voice. Now he seems a dark elf, albeit a godly one, and a godlike one. And he's just there in the room together with you, and you see him in between the shadows.
Yes, well, it didn't seem like we were in the Winter Queen's domain. It didn't feel like the right thing to hand over the coins while we were there right then.
That was, first of all, welcome to my home. He nods with his head. Second, that was that hurt, Talin, that you would go to the Winter Queen.
It wasn't exactly my personal idea, but
Yes, I have the feeling that you are frequenting the wrong company. They are going to bring you on a bad path, a path that is slowly but certainly leading you to ruin. And it is such a waste when you have gone so far. What is there still to know? What else? What is this doubt that you have, Tommy?
well, I think I have what I need to know, and what I do not know yet, I have the gifts to learn, as I don't seek to remain a fighter much longer.
But this is exactly the deal that we made. I will give you all the knowledge. All of it.
Exactly. Yes. And I would welcome it, of course.
Then I suppose I can expect you in my realm.
You can expect me soon. What will happen with the gifts I got from these coins?
You mean the power that the coin has given you?
Yes. And well, the way they have changed me, of course.
Would you like to keep it? The way they have changed you?
Perhaps. I'm not sure if I'd be desperate to accept another deal, though.
No, Talin. There will be no more deals. But we are now at a stage where we do not play games anymore. Now it is a matter of, can I trust you? And if you show me that I can trust you, then the deal that we have made, that would be the least that you will get from me.
The least.
Yes.
Is that a promise or a threat?
That will depend entirely on you, Talvin.
never been one to really serve deities, but we've made a deal between, well, maybe not exactly equals, but a deal nonetheless.
We all
Fair
have to
deal.
serve someone. Believe me, now that I have reached the very top of the
Yes.
pyramid, I have learned that there is always someone above us.
Yes, I've learned that you've begun to serve Lolt, right?
He smiles and he says, to put it in terms that you can understand, we have a deal.
I see.
And I am a god out of this deal. So I can guarantee you, if you earn my trust, you will get much more than the knowledge you seek.
Well, we will be visiting soon. I can promise you that much.
This is the last time.
Besides, what's a few days delay anyway on the time scale of the divine, right?
This is the last time that I meet you in friendship before you give me the coins. Next time we meet, I will either have my coins, and then it disappears.
Oh, I kind of want to make him come and get them, to be honest. But
I said patience, boys.
yeah, but we can't keep going around in these bloody circles, going on wild goose chases.
That's all we've done this entire time is goose chases.
All right. All right. So, so it was for the night. I suppose the day after you meet again for breakfast. The emperor will be there for short breakfast. So if you want to inform him what you plan to do,
Yeah.
if you want, or you just tell him we're leaving him. Ciao.
I would tell him we're going on an adventure to the Shadowfell.
I see. Then you have found the answers you were looking for?
I found clues to the answer. Do you have any message for your old companion?
In all honesty, I don't. But maybe there is somebody that does.
Oh?
Unless you are on a tight schedule. Would you maybe accompany me to the tree?
Sure.
No, man. I saw that one
Oh.
coming.
Very well. Then you finish your breakfast and you take some. You actually take like not a sky ship, but a sky lance, like a smaller flying
A skiff.
vehicle that will, a flying skiff, that will bring you here to this park. And you see that there are
Carriage.
several. There is several. So it's this wonderful park full of not only monuments that represent the nine masters of the Sublime Way, but also you see there are all monuments that represent the common people, like those that didn't fight with weapons during the last Great War, but still died in the city while helping others, while taking care of their children. And there is a lot of people, gatherings of people here in this park, elderly teaching to the young, people taking care of each other. Yink, and especially you that are tuned to this kind of forces, you feel a lot of positive energy and dreams spreading all around this place. Until you reach the tree itself, and you see that it's actually the bark of the tree, it's silvery, and also the tree is, of course, it's gigantic. It's probably like 500 meters wide or something like that. Well, no, maybe it's 200 meters wide, and it towers well, apart from the main tower here, is like the tallest landmark in this whole majestic city. And there is several druids. All of them, they seem to bear some kind of mistletoe circle symbol or on their head or like an amulet. And they seem to be all attuned to nature, so druids or rangers or green paladins, things like that. And when they see the emperor arriving without that big of an escort, just with the four of you, they are quite surprised to see this. The emperor kind of steps forward and he goes to the tree. He first kind of kneels in front of the tree, then he approaches the tree, puts a hand on the bark, and then, well, you can't hear what he's saying, but it's like he's saying things to the tree and then making a little laugh and like sharing a memory or something that happened recently with the tree. He pats the tree a couple of times, then he steps back, and then he goes, I think Dedry wishes to speak with you.
Well, then let's go forth and do that. And like Brock will step forward and put his hand on the tree, and I'm guessing the others.
Yeah, I will first kneel, like Sonic King do, and then I will approach as well.
Okay. You see that as you approach, all of you feel like you are in the presence of something alive. Like when you are in a room and there is another person there, and it's clear that there is a person there, but there is so much life coming out of this tree that for a moment there you are overwhelmed with this sense of vitality and actual joy that emanates from the tree. But it is when Yinkan puts their hand on the bark that you see that the like veins of light starts to shine in between the plates of bark that are on the tree, and the leaves start to rustle, and you see that all the druids that are there around are like very surprised of what they are seeing, and but they all kind of like go down in prayer and of what is happening here. And Yinkan, you feel a great attunement to this tree, as if it's trying to communicate with you somehow. Yeah. All right. Okay. Clearly, yes. So you
I'm not
cast.
sure if it's gonna work or.
No, absolutely. Okay, you can speak with plants, and you can feel the rustling of leaves actually turning into some kind of almost like a song that welcomes you here on the world of Tira, and at the same time tells you that even the great tree of life has dreams that would like to share with you.
I would be honored to see your dreams.
All right. Did you do something to see these dreams?
All I need to do now is go to sleep.
And then you cast the dream spell, and you see Yinkan still touching the bark and slowly closing their eyes, while you, Yinkan, you see yourself stepping through the tree, and you find yourself in this nice opening among a tree, among a forest, and there is a little natural spring coming out of several smooth pieces of stone, and and taking some water in the cup of her hands near to this fountain is a shifter woman. You see that she looks humanoid, but clearly she has like fur growing on her arms and legs, and a bit of tufts of hair on her cheeks. And she looks at you with these feline eyes. And she tells you, "Welcome, Yinkum.
Thank you for having me.
It has been such a long time since I have felt the presence of someone so attuned to the forces of life and nature. People forget how important it is for their own sustenance to remember what the natural world has done for them and still does for them. But you have not forgotten.
I try not. Seems like it's worked out.
She smiles. My roots dig deep under this city and under the whole island. And everything that happened, I can sense somehow. And I sense that you and your companions are going somewhere where you may never coming back from.
It's a risk we have to take.
I'm afraid it is. I ask only one thing of you, if you would be so kind. I have traveled this world and a few others together with Waylander. And he has saved my life in more than one occasion, as I have saved his life, as the Bold has done, as the Emperor has done. But you know what it is and how it is. It is the life of adventuring companions. Somewhere, somehow, I think Waylander is still there. And he failed to show the mercy that the Raven Queen deserved. So when the moment comes, I only ask yourself, should you follow his steps and show no mercy? Or should you be Yinkum? Then she puts her hands into the water, and you see that she takes out like a globe of light from the water. And then she turns and comes to you, and you see that it's not actually global light, but it's a seed. And she says, this is the same gift that the great three of the elves made me. And that is the same potential that I want to give to you. Will you accept it?
And I look at her hands. I look at the seeds lying there, and I say,
I don't hear you. I
look at her. I look at her hands, and I say, "I will."
Okay, so you see that the seed is actually as big as an apple almost, and she puts in your hands, and almost instinctively you understand that in order to accept it, you bring it to your chest, and then you see that the seed disappears inside of you.
Oh, fun. Yeah, sure.
And for a moment there you see light come, if you want to accept it, of course.
Yes, I do.
And then you see this light coming out for a moment from your mouth and eyes. And you feel this great vitality inside of you. And she says, when I received this gift, I did not know what it was for. but in the moment of greatest need, it turned me into the tree of life. I do not know what it will mean for you, but know that you bring inside of you hope, life, and mercy.
I will do my best.
Thank you then,
Don't promise anything.
Incan of the Fey Realm. Do you feel like you have anything else that you want to ask her?
How do you feel being this now?
She says, now I'm in communion with all the living things of this floating island. Hundreds of thousands of lives, and I can feel each laughter, also each tear. But I will not want it any other way.
See a tear appearing from Yinka's eye.
She smiles.
That's comforting thought.
She smiles and she says, these are the good tears. Not all tears flow down because of pain. And not all laughter is because of joy. I think this is a lesson that Waylander can still learn.
I will hold it close to me. And I bid you farewell. And I hope to see you again.
She nods and smiles and goes back to sit next to that fountain and to put one of her hands into the water. You step back and you find yourself again there in the park with your hand on the tree, and then you open your eyes. And you feel this great warmth in the center of your chest.
Huh, I got nothing.
Yeah, I'm not sure what we're supposed to be getting from this. Like, are we supposed to be feeling all warm and stuff? Because this place is beautiful and all, but I've got this very bad sense of foreboding with the whole going to the Shadowfell thing.
I think we are ready.
All right.
I'm gonna assume you had a moment.
Actually, this is a nice ending. They look at you, and then Incan says, "I think we are ready." And then, but are they really ready? What does it all mean? What happened here on Tira? So many questions, a few answers, more questions. Will everything be revealed next session when they finally go and die into the Shadowfell? We will only know in the next episode of Tales from the Yawning Portal, an epic campaign by all of you.
Oh.
And this is it for tonight, guys. I think
Yeah.
next session, action. It's going to be action.
We need
right?
some action next session, I think.
It's an action session, all right? Unless you change your mind at the last time, say, no, let's not go.
I mean, wouldn't be the first time.
Wouldn't be the
Trying to
first
get
time.
ideas of one
I
last
will
thing
be-
I want to do.
I will be ready. I can get shit out of this. Okay, so, okay, guys. Thank you for another wonderful session. A lot of info today. I don't know, maybe too much. But yeah, I had fun. I hope you guys had fun. Whoever looked at us, hope you also had fun. We will be back next week on Monday again, this time into the Shadowfell, and we'll see what happens. Until then, is it Monday yet?
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Ciao.
Bye, everyone.